archived and we will post it up. It'll be a podcast and it'll be a live stream and it'll be a video afterwards for everyone to watch. So if you do miss stuff today or right now, or if you want to go back and watch stuff, we'll have it up for you on the Big Mountain Enduro YouTube page.
Sweet.
Cool.
Is it up now?
All
There
right.
it goes. Sweet.
Yeah.
Just went live.
Yeah, we're live. So cool, everyone. Yeah, basically, let's get into it. 2025 season. We got new locations. We got all new pricing. Talk about it, Rob, the truck driver.
We got a lot. It's
Yeah.
cool. It's exciting. And yeah, it's like 3 new locations for us this year that we're super pumped on. Obviously, we went to Tamarack. Some of us made it to Tamarack and started the setup, but for racing, obviously, it's going to be brand new for us this year. But yeah, we're excited. The all new prices, yeah, kind of hard to beat that and argue with those. I mean, it's something like a 30% reduction in what prices were last year. They started off at 250 and went up from there. And yeah, currently the prices are 185 for BME, 110 for DH, and 105 or 125 depending on which round of the youth. The first two are a little bit less because they don't have a chairlift, but yeah, $125. I mean, it's hard to beat that for enduro style racing.
Yeah. And I mean, 2 days. It's not 1 day, it's 2 days. Typical times for the pros, we averaged over 30 minutes over the 2 days of racing on time. It was, I mean, some of them were 37, 35. I think we had a 28 one and a 30. So I mean, mainly I'm
Yeah.
just 30's a nice number, but it's 30 and above for most of them.
It's a lot of racing. So a lot of the amateurs are in kind of that 40-minute range, usually kind of sub 50. So it's they definitely get a lot of riding over the weekend. And then that's obviously not including the transfers. And there's some absolutely gorgeous transfers that we have. And it's really well thought out. And that was the commentary I kept hearing again this year. Like, we're trying to not just send you down runs. We're trying to make it a loop that is super cool and conducive to a great day of riding your bike, not just let's send you over here to point A and then back to point B and down to C. And, we're trying to make it fun and kind of what the spirit of enduro is, which is going out and riding with your buddies and racing them to the bottom. None of us really want to race. I'm getting too old to race to the top anymore. We'll go racing down.
Yeah. That being said, we also have the downhill series that will be in conjunction. This is kind of just like, I mean, I look at it as like you're there for the weekend. You can add in a little bit more if you want, type of thing. Talk about that a
Absolutely.
little bit.
Yeah. So the downhill series is its own standalone series within the BME. So every round of the BME will also have a downhill. So if you want to just chase the downhills title series, you're more than welcome to. But that is the idea behind kind of everything that we're doing with the series. Is it's more of like an add-on. It's a Saturday night activity. We seed on Friday nights, and so it's outside of your enduro practice. So what we're seeing a lot is that the enduroers are coming out and they're signing up for the add-on DH, which I think at this point is only $85 to add on to the enduro registration. But we're kind of seeing that with like youth too. A lot of the youth are doing Saturdays, and a lot of them are gearing up to race BME and go professional and do all that. And so they sign up for the Sunday BME add-on. So we're doing a lot of these add-ons, and it's kind of for the people that are already there. They can get more racing in. I mean, the travel is the big expense, obviously, to go to these things and hang out with the family and do all that. So when you can give them more racing or more avenues, it's more fun for everybody, because if mom and dad are racing the enduro, then the kids want to ride on Sunday too. So let's give them options.
It was interesting last year. I did see a lot of like, okay, well, my kid's racing youth, and then maybe I'm just gonna hop in and do the downhill for a little bit and like a few rounds or something like that, and kind of just hopping back and forth. It's kind of cool. Like what we're trying to do here is give options, so you're not just kind of pigeonholed into just this is just this or that. Having options, so it's like the Disneyland funness of you can do everything.
Well, and what we were finding is that the whole family was now participating, as opposed to them all going for one person, whether it be the kid, the dad, the mom, whoever. Um, one dad came up to us at Brian Head and had tears in his eyes, and he goes, "Man, without the event having all these different layers to it," he goes, "there's no way we would have done this." And he goes, "This has been the best father-daughter time I've ever had." So they brought the trailer out. Dad was racing the full BME. The younger daughter was racing youth enduro on Saturday, and then older daughter was racing downhill. So they were in every single one of our events, and they kept doing it and kept adding on. And it kind of, I'll be honest, it caught us by surprise how many people wanted to add on the other events. And so we were doing it all year long, just keep adding on the different things. And we had the BME lights last year. And so people would try, like, dip their toes in and see what it was like to do a BME, and then do a Sunday add-on, do a DH add-on. I mean, we're there to go racing. Let's go racing.
And maybe let's talk a little bit about BME Light a little bit and how we added that last year.
Yeah, it's a great option. It was it's scheduled to be for the last 3 rounds last year. And it was a great one-day option because we started getting a bunch of emails about it. It's a 2-day commitment. I totally get it. It's a big commitment for people to get off work to travel, because typically they're trying to be on site for 2 days of practice, for 2 days of racing, and then you've got probably a half day or day travel on either side of that to get to the event. So the BME Light was great, and they'd roll in on like Friday afternoon, go run 1 or 2 runs, and then they'd be set for Saturday racing, and that was it. They loved it. And so again, that was kind of one of those things we were trying to see where the temperature was on it, and I was greatly impressed by it. So it was awesome to see.
So yeah, I mean, you can do a 2-day enduro, you can do a 1-day enduro, you can do a downhill race, you can bring the kids to race youth enduro. It's kind of everything bikes. I mean, the only thing we're gonna miss is little XC right there, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I have a soft spot for XC for sure, but at this point in time, and the venues that we're at and the locations and what we're doing, and it's kind of up the wheelhouse of what our crew is already geared up for, and the timing equipment that we bring. Yeah, we're kind of doing all the gravity side, so it's exciting.
And maybe we can step into that a little bit. That segment into it is talk about, a lot of people don't understand the difference in timing software and timing stuff like that. Is something that I mean, and to understand that is like, typical people, the cheaper, don't take it wrong, but the cheaper enduros that you can go, the less expensive enduros that you can go to is more inaccurate timing. And I mean, I understand it, but maybe you talk a little bit about it is that we feel that because at such high level of professionalism on the pro side that we have, and then, just makes sense to trickle it down is everyone runs these same transponders.
Yeah.
And I mean, why don't you talk a little bit about it?
Yeah. I mean, I don't shy behind bragging about 2 things that we are relentless in, I'll say, spending money on. And number 1 is timing. It's a huge deal. What's the point of going to an event if timing isn't going to be accurate and it's not going to be quick, right? So we spend a lot on that, and it's a huge touching point for us because we've all been to events where it's been questioned, right? And that's one thing that we try to we laid the groundwork quick, reliable. We have the same staff, and we do not waver from that. And I will go to bat with that every single day. Alex, that helps us from Zone 4, he does a phenomenal job, and I will not put on an event unless he himself is on site. We have done it in the past. I should say BME has done it in the past. It has never existed under my ownership of the series to not have him there. But when you find those people that are integral into the nuts and bolts and the working pieces of a race series, you have to stick with it. And he does such a phenomenal job, and he knows the system inside and out. It's just, I mean, I'll put it up against anything. It's second to none. And the amount of redundancy that we have built into the system for everybody, and it's the same system we run from whether you're a top pro or it's your very first race ever. Like, it's literally the exact same system, but we have so many layers of redundancy built into this that luckily we've never even had to dip into that, but we still have all that available to us. That way, if there is a question, we know for 100% certainty that we have an accurate time. And the only thing that we do different for the pro class is we double chip them. That's literally the only thing. They have one on the bike, on the fork, or somewhere like that, and one on their wrist. And the only time we resort to that other chip is if we have a question on the primary. But even there, we have backups that are hand jammed and the loops and everything. And the way the system is set up, it's crazy. And you know, a lot of people ask, and so again, I'm not going to shy behind it. That why is an enduro race more than like a cross country race kind of thing? And
Completely different transponder, by the way.
Yeah, I
Just
mean,
for anyone
exactly.
that is wondering on that.
The biggest part of that is the timing gear. If you're doing an XC race and it's a loop, there's one loop, one system, maybe two. When we're putting on a race, we have between 14 and 16 different loops that are on course at any one time, plus the backup gear, plus we have 600-700 chips that arrive. I mean, it's just crazy. And you just don't need that for a cross country. And that's the single biggest
You don't
thing.
even need that for a downhill.
Correct. A downhill, you have two loops, one at the top, one at the bottom, you're done. And so when we have 7-8 stages, you have two loops per trail that we're using. And then we have a DH on top of that. And then we have Youth Enduro that shares a lot of the same courses, but may have a different start or finish line. And so we just have gear literally all over the mountain. I mean, I can't find anything more difficult to time than enduro. And yeah, it's been a huge step forward. So we've been doing enduro. Man, I've been putting on enduro races about almost 15 years now. And there's been a bunch of different iterations of timing gear and equipment and things that we've used over the years. And simply nothing compares to what we have right now.
Totally.
And live. Oh my gosh.
Exactly. It is live timing. So when you're out there, if you do get service with some of these backstages, you don't, but
Right.
You're more than welcome. Hop in, watch your times.
But that's the coolest thing too. I mean, you're in a backcountry stage and maybe that spot doesn't have cell coverage. Your chip, the next time you go through the next stage that does have service, it uploads everything and then automatically all the times are repopulated. So how cool is that? You don't have to come through. You're not tapping your wrist on some thing at the start line or finish line, or, you know, you don't have to come through and dump your times that way. It's all done wirelessly. It's kind of like we're in the 21st century here.
Well, we got Starlink, so we're good.
We got Starlink, several of
them. All right, we'll cross on. Well, maybe we talk a little bit then from there. Another piece of the puzzle that we like to pride ourselves on is the amount of taping and stopping, you know, people from making these shortcuts through trails and actually riding the line. You know, I've seen other enduros, I've been to other enduros, and the amount of tape that, I mean, I think you spend almost all man out, like sometimes up to 10 people, more than that, for a week straight taping all these courses. I mean, people just think that we show up on Wednesday or something, or Thursday. I mean,
that'd be
a
whole different schedule.
Tuesday or Wednesday, yeah.
But payroll would be a whole lot lighter if we did that too. But yeah,
exactly.
No.
I mean, talk how many average amount of tape rolls, which are about what size each round, you know?
Miles of tape per round. People have no concept. Even places that we get course tape from,
you can get a concept because we will always let you come on and help us tape.
Yes. Anybody who wants to help tape. And, you know, there's been some that came out and helped us at Windrock, and Trent Ellerman jumped in one day and he's like, I'll come help tape the DH. He wasn't racing the DH. And so he went out with Aaron Gwynn and myself and taped and got down the hill. And I said, what was it like? And he goes, dude, I had no concept how much tape goes on a mountain. I go, that was just a DH run. That's one of 7 courses that we're taping this weekend. And it's literally, we go through, we figure 5 boxes of course tape, and in each box there's 8 rolls of course tape, and each roll is, I forget what it is. It's like 2,000 feet of course tape. And we go through it all.
Caution tape size little rolls that you're getting to. These are massive rolls.
Yeah. We're just burning through tape, and we get the majority of it done in 2 huge days of marking with, like what you said, 8 to 10 people taping. And then there's a lot of touch up taping that has to be done, or just tying together pieces to where lines are popping up that we don't want to have happen. And people think, like, I'd like to kind of dispel that one real quick. People think that we're just blocking off lines because we don't want them to happen. And sometimes, yes, that's absolutely the case, but other times it's respect out of the land that we're on. And we're just coming in to put on an event and have a good time, but we're on Indian land, we're on Forest Service land, we're on private land, we're on all these different things. And they don't want us just cutting in lines off the side of the hill, no matter how cool it looks. And there's a lot of things to take into consideration. There's erosion, there's injury to the riders, there's plans that have been put into place, and we've got to follow them. So that's kind of a hot topic occasionally when we go and we tape off something that just
Well, yeah, if I'm
emerged
getting the
overnight.
hotline, it got me a couple seconds
Yeah.
more. I'm going to be bummed if I lose that because we have to tape it off. But it 98% of the time, it's due to different land restrictions, different rules
Yes.
at mountains,
Yes.
and making it fair to everyone else through that section, right? Like, it's not
Absolutely. And
like we're going
safety.
out there and I'm like, oh, I see that these 5 guys are doing it. We tape it off. It's always because of
Yeah.
something that matter, right? Like, they're like, that's not even part of the course. No one's ever ran that. It doesn't work that way.
Correct.
And then, ski patrol, and we're working with them.
Yep. That's exactly. And that was a hot topic at Brian Head last year. There was some line that came in and it was over a stump and through a wood. And I don't even know, under Grandma's bridge or something. I don't know where we went on that one, but it was the craziest line that popped up that never should have been there. And we, of course, were catching a little flack. Why isn't that in there? And it was plain and simple. The land managers came over us. The resort came up. They're like, that we can't accept that as a new line, guys. You've got to shut that down. So we did.
Because people
I mean,
don't
it's
think
simple.
about this is that, okay, it's not like a regular weekend where usually it's like, oh, 5 or 6 people just find this crazy line. Once it pops up at a BME, you're talking about maybe like 400 people, well, 400 to 500, it just depends everywhere. I don't know, are going to not just do this once. We're talking maybe 20 times. So,
well, if each
that
person does
line
it 3
will
or 4
be,
times or 2 times, you multiply that by the couple hundred people that are doing it. And in this event, it was on both the DH and an enduro track. So now you got to multiply that by 2. Like, I mean, it was just literally hundreds of tires going down the skid track that they just made, and it just wasn't going to happen. So, I mean, we'd love to keep lines in, but yeah, I mean, that's a big thing that we pride ourselves on, that we know most series, most enduro events don't have the manpower to tape the way that we tape. They have a start line and a finish line, and it's kind of like a Euro event, like, hey, first one down to the bottom wins. Where that's not us. We're trying to put fair racing. We have to make it reliable. We have to make it to where the sponsors, not only of the series, but the athletes at any level, can realize that when they come to a BME and they get a BME result, it's a reliable result, right? They were racing the same track that everybody else. So if they win, they fairly beat everybody else. And that's what we're there to do. We're not there to make cheater lines.
Yeah. And accurate timing, accurate course. It's not going to be different on that type of stuff.
Nope.
Yeah. So let's dive back into a little bit of the schedule. We have a lot of questions on this one, and we're not fully going to tell you, but we're going to get you in a little bit of a hint for round 1 of the BME, which would be round 2 of Youth Enduro, round 1 of Big Mountain Downhill. Rob, we've been going back and forth on this one. Maybe give him some hints and tell him, we're going to have you, we'll let you know when we're going to drop it, but we'll give you some hints, because it seems to be a lot of people thinking we're dropping out of, the spear or something this year, but maybe that's what we should do.
I've been talking to the guys at Sphere, and they said it's a possibility, but I don't know.
They don't have
liability
the parking.
wise.
Not
yeah,
enough
no
parking.
And I could go down so many roads there, but no. Anyways, Vegas, I am beyond ecstatic about. It's something I've been kind of working on behind the scenes for probably about 3 years now at this point. And it is going to be phenomenal. I'm going to say arguably it's going to have the best backcountry day of any of our venues. And we all know what Sunrise is, and that Sunrise is known for. It's going to be probably top 2, I bet, in everybody's minds of what the backcountry will be there. We're still waiting on some final contracts to come in, and that's why we're not fully saying, but I can say that the Forest Service is very excited about the thing going on. So we will not be down by the lake. There will be rocks, but not the rocks that you're thinking of. But there will be pine trees, um, tons of junipers. I've ridden the trails a bunch of times. It is miles of downhill without taking pedal strokes. It's awesome. I mean, at this point, that's about
That's enough. There we go.
that's what we've said. But yeah, we're very excited for Vegas. And I mean, early season polling shows Vegas pulling hard at #1. So
Yeah.
clearly everybody else is excited about Vegas. We have some other tricks up our sleeve for Vegas, but we'll leave those for another time.
Round 2, the beautiful Sunrise. I personally love it. I'm an Arizona guy, so you know, I'm in for Sunrise. Round 3, which is Tamarack, which got brutally.
We get
that
to
was
go.
brutal for us. We get to go, and then hopefully being moved up to this time, we're away from fire season, right? And it puts us in a better area.
Yeah. No, it'll be awesome for sure. It's yeah, I'm excited to go back to Tamarack. We were so bummed. That one was pretty rough for the whole crew. We kind of just, the wind got let out of our sails prematurely on that one. We were looking forward to the big party at Tamarack, and the trails are awesome. The staff is awesome. Everything about Tamarack we were just looking forward to. And then to get kicked out of there due to the fires, and I mean, no part of Tamarack, but man, we just got ran out of there, and it was scary. I mean, there's a lot of people lost a lot of property up there, and it was just a rough go for sure.
Next up, round 4, we got Brian Head, and that's your little hometown area.
Favorite. Yeah,
always a favorite. I know there was a lot of change up last year and different trails and things like that. I think possibly something else coming on there a little bit we were talking about. We'll just put it. Oh, too much. All right. Sorry, you guys.
It's
I mean, I don't know how much you want to share, you know?
Brian Head's always good. And it always, it's my little pride and joy to find something in there that people haven't seen before. So they can plan on that. Absolutely. That's why we like Brian Head so much. There's so much flexibility there. It's a great resort. They have so much available to them. Yeah, there's just so much going on at Brian Head. It's neat to be throwing something new at it every single year there. So it's you can go to Brian Head 2, 3, 4 times in a row and you won't be riding the same thing. That's for darn sure.
Yeah, so some people were asking, the chat is open. If you do a refresh on the page real quick, hit a refresh. We also have a poll up right now, just about which round you'll be racing. If you are watching, go ahead and hit that. And yeah, but you can just do a quick refresh on the page. We'll give you a second there.
I'm going to them all. Can I click them all? How do I click them all?
I don't know, actually.
Come on, Austin. You're the tech guru here.
You're going to them all. Well, just multiple logins.
We can manage that.
And we're going to do round 5. This place, as from my understanding, has a lot of history, not just because it was national champs there, but because it also was a lot of a testing center for RockShox and SRAM, I've been told from other people. So it's got some history here. And it's good. We got ourselves a place in Colorado and not far from Denver as well. So
absolutely. Yeah, that's what's cool. And that's been a big focus for us too. I mean, we're trying to make improvements every single year here at BME. A couple years ago, it was camping. So we're making sure that all the venues have camping available to them, and that's set up. It's kind of turned into more of like an epicenter to fly to, so that people can get in there a little bit more affordably. They can get rental cars and that kind of a thing. And that's a huge play on Granby right there. I've spent quite a bit of time there this summer, talking, schmoozing, doing what I had to do to get that place opened up again. They have not had a bike race there in a long time. And they certainly haven't had a race of this size there since national champs. Man, what was that? 14, I think 12, 13, 14, or right in that range somewhere, 12 to 14. Adam Craig could correct me on that one. He was actually there, and if I'm not mistaken, he brought home some stars and bars from several of those there. But anyways, nice little plug for Adam there. But Granby is going to be an amazing place, and we have a lot of stuff up our sleeves there for Granby. Probably some resurrection of well, I'll let you guys determine that one. But anyways, their backcountry there at Granby is phenomenal. And it's all on property there, but like, trust me, when I say it's on property, you won't feel like you're on property. Like we're talking, I think it's well over 1,000 acres out there at Granby. And the views are just spectacular. If people don't know, if you haven't been there before, just look it up. It is insane, the views from up there. We have a couple other secrets in store for Granby that we're looking forward to announce, but they are planning concerts around the event. And actually, as of right now, Sunrise is planning concerts, Tamarack's planning concerts, Brian Head. We have a whole bunch of cool stuff there. We have a very large item that we will most likely be giving away at Brian Head. And then same thing for Granby, that they're planning concerts Friday night, Saturday night. They'll have bands. I mean, it's gonna be jam packed. The camping there is right next to it, so when the bands are rocking, the all the campers will be a part of it. The condos are right there, and the cool thing about, especially at Granby, is that they're bringing in a music promoter, and he's bringing in a massive stage. He's bringing in these like A minus bands coming. I mean, it's gonna be absolutely insane for the national championships of youth enduro and the final round of BME. We're going to be crowning a whole bunch of champions, giving away a ridiculous amount of money. Like I'm personally so excited. I've been working on Granby for 3 years now. And it's been a lot of arm twisting. They like their weddings out there, but hey, we're going to show them a little bit of a good style mountain bike. So it's going to be fun. We're excited to bring everybody there.
For sure. Let's actually talk a little bit about the youth enduro and now adding this as a national championship for them. Maybe we discuss that a little bit. Is round 1 through 6 is getting your points to achieve to go to the national championship, correct?
Yeah. So it'll be 6-round series. So the finals of the Youth Enduro Series will be at Brian Head. So we'll award that champion. But then the national championships for Youth Enduro will be at Granby Ranch. So the way that's going to work is we are going to have some spots available for people to sign up and go to Granby. It's open registration for that right now, but that will be limited, and we're getting close to that cap right now. But then we will also have pre-qualifiers from each round of the Youth Enduro. The prior 6 rounds, if you finish in X, then you auto qualify into the national championships. So it's going to be super cool. So we're going to have the cream of the crop there at Granby to race for the national championship. And then we're also going to have the locals and everybody be able to come in and challenge them. And so let's see if what's best in the Youth Enduro Series holds up to be the national champion or not. But it's cool. And that one again is running away. Like the youth contingency out there in Colorado and being so close to Denver. Trestle Bike Park is literally just right down the road. It's going to be new tracks. It's going to be fair racing for everybody. There's not going to be a home field advantage. It's going to be awesome. That's what's unique about Granby. I mean, there's a lot of venues that have great racing, but it's not many have new racing.
And that's something to be talked about is like when we go to most of these parks, there is backcountry that people cannot ride or never ridden because it's brand new. It opens up on that Thursday or, whatever it is. And that's like a big missing piece of the puzzle that a lot of people don't see, right?
Yeah. Yeah, the park stages are the park stages. I mean, it's a park. I hate to say it, but that's kind of my sentiments on it. Where the real shakeups happen and where the real ground is to be made is these backcountry stages, and how you get extremely limited practice on them. I mean, maybe a couple hours on Thursday kind of thing. But they're so massive, like especially the ones at, we could talk about
then Sunrise had a split
Vegas
section.
will be the same way. Like you're not going to get a bunch of runs on these. They're so long. And so whether it's a camera that helps you learn the tracks a little better, but that's the beauty of racing. That's what's enduro, is how fast can you read the tracks as they're coming at you. And things are changing, because the beauty of it is that we have not just pros out there, but we have amateurs. And so stuff's moving around on the trails, logs and rocks. And I mean, they're making huge trail changes. And when they're cooking at them at full speed, your reaction time's got to be spot on.
Totally. Another update for this year is a whole new platform for registering for the events. Maybe talk a little bit about that. I could say we that was the biggest deep dive that we had to do coming into this year, and that's some of the help with what we're rolling out here and achieving with a lot of things, from the pro class to out here with us right now, and with just other racing, and that comes along with some other stuff that we are going to announce and talk about a little bit. But yeah, just talk about that a little bit, and I'm just, so people do know, it was not easy, because our old platform was done, and then we tried multiple platforms to get to the proper platform. People, I think that setting online sign up is just like a click and go thing. It is very much not. It is very deep and a lot thought out. But yeah, now with this new system, hopefully it's a lot easier for a lot of people. We find it easier, hopefully as well, for everyone.
Yeah, early feedback has been that it's much easier. And a couple of the features that I really like about the new system are that you can add multiple rounds at the exact same time. And that was not possible with the old platform. You'd have to go do each round and answer all 12 questions every single time. And your tire change probably didn't change from the last round to this round. So it's going to be the same answer every single time. So now you can literally just go in, punch in your name, and add round 1, 3, and 5. Don't care, whatever it is. And then you just check out and you're done. I mean, minutes is all it takes, where before it was like a half hour, an hour endeavor to do the whole thing. But yeah, that was a massive, it was a change we knew was coming, that we needed to do. It wasn't something I wanted to do this off season, but unfortunately it was literally while we're at Tamarack, in and out of those meetings about fires and stuff. And as I was walking to the final meeting in which we were going to have to call the event due to the fires, I get an email saying that our old platform was shutting down as of the end of the year and all my data is lost. And it was like, holy smokes. And so I'm stuttering because it's been that big of a project, but we literally started this project in September. We went through several other platforms that just quite honestly didn't have the capabilities that we needed. Looking at current and looking at future, where we want to take things. And we finally came upon this one, which luckily, I'm very excited about. It's a great platform. It's getting easier the more that we get familiar with it. But yeah, it's been honestly nonstop work outside of my day job to just get this thing tuned in, and we're still making changes. So we appreciate everybody's patience. If something's not quite right or you have a question, man, just ask us. Like we're always on the emails and chatting, and we're trying to get these little kinks worked out. But when you have so many layers of intricacy to what we're doing, this isn't a marathon. This isn't just a male female category for marathon and top 5 get a little medallion around their neck. We have 12 categories in youth enduro. We have 12 categories in BME. We have, I think it's 11 or 12 in DH. And then there's carryover categories. And then there's BME Sunday add-on. There's DH add-on. I mean, I can just go on and on and on. It's so massive. And then everything's a different price. And we're trying to streamline it. It's going to be much easier going forward, but it has been an absolute monumental task. So we appreciate everybody's patience. We appreciate everybody going through it. We had a lot of people test bedding this thing before we ever went live with it, because it was a big unknown for us too. But yeah, early season feedback so far is everybody's loving it. The beauty of this system is that you're basically creating your own portal. And so then if you're at the race and say it's Friday night and you're like, hey, I want to do DH add-on, you can literally just go into your profile, add it on, and we get a notification of it right there. So it's going to be way slicker for everybody. It's just a lot of work in the meantime, but yeah, it's a great platform. We're super excited to work with them.
Because people in the past might not know this, but when we would go to do the points, this is a big thing, is a lot of races or a lot of online sign up programs, software, whatever you want to call it, are built for just one-off races. They aren't built
Yeah.
for series and
Right.
points. And that is what's unique about us here at Big Mountain Enduro is we're more than, it's great. You can totally come and do a weekend, or if you're just doing a race as a one-off thing, we have that. But majority of the people in this are racing a series, which decides a champion. That's how World Cups are. That's how any NBA, NASCAR, Supercross, all that type of stuff is a series, and it's over multiple races, and that's how you decide your champion. Well, that being said, it is a very difficult process when your sign up an online platform doesn't have a unique ID number attached to everyone. So for us, we've been having to chase that, and just giving you guys a little insight on that is like
Yeah.
that's why we had issues with points last year when we go to post it, because we had multiple ideas of that, and people would maybe just misspell their name, which seems weird, right? How would you misspell your name? Well, when you're doing multiple signups, it's very easy with that. Or hey, they just gave their mom's phone number instead of their dad's phone number instead of their phone number. All these different things came in,
Well,
and
it's
messed
even
things
just your
up.
full name, right? Like for me,
Yeah.
it's Robert is usually the way I write it out. But if mom signed me up, it might have been Rob. If dad signed me up, it might be Bob. Like, you know what I mean? Like there's all these variations, and that threw off the
Yeah.
system, which created a ton of extra work for us. And then we tried using phone numbers as their unique ID. Well, it came up especially in youth enduro because people were putting in, well, it came up in BME too. I can't say that. So people were putting their work number, then they put in their cell phone number, then they put in their pager number. Like I don't know what numbers these guys are even coming up with, but they put in different numbers. And so
Yeah.
the unique part of what it is now in the Gravity Points card that we've created is that we actually assign you a unique number, and that is your number for life. So if you do a couple races this year, wait 5 years, come back, your unique ID number is still there with you. Your profile is still set up, and we're good to go. So
Yep.
that's what makes it nice, and your stuff carries over. And that's the reason why we've been doing so much time and effort and energy behind it. There's so many more capabilities that are part of this system that we haven't even scratched the surface on those yet. But we were really, you were on a lot of those calls. We were really pushing them hard to get a lot of these details in that we needed for our system in order to make the product better for the racers on the weekend. All we want is a seamless thing that they come, they have a fantastic time, they get their results, they know what they got, and then they go home stoked and can't wait to come back. That's what we're here for. We'll do the work, but we just got to have all these pieces in place so that when you guys leave, you're 100% stoked on what happened.
And then let's segment in. I mean, we haven't really announced it on any Instagram or social page, but the points card. You want to
Yeah,
talk a little bit? I mean, we could talk a little bit about that. Just
absolutely.
people.
Yeah,
Go
the
ahead,
points
Rob.
card is awesome. The points card is meant for the amateur categories. So anybody below pro, semi-pro, down, amateur. Um, the Gravity points card is there for you. So it has a couple different things. It attaches that unique number to you that I was just talking about. But that will be your ranking. So if you opt in, you do not have to. There's no obligation for the $20 annual Gravity points card. So if you choose not to, you don't have to. If you want to, it's there for you. That gives you your series points, and that helps us tally for the entire year, is what that does. And then you can see your rankings. We do have other race series that are going to come in this year and be a part of that Gravity points card. So that'll be a cool way that we can like rank and show where you're at amongst that series, our series, all around. So there's a lot of cool things that all kind of sneak in there. Austin's face looks a little smiled even on that one.
Well, I mean, look, no one gives enduro what it deserves. And that's what we're trying to do here is a ranking system, building points, building profiles, giving enduro the love it deserves, just like all the other ones get their love, USA Cycling and them help with those ones. No one is putting the right effort towards enduro, and we feel that
Well,
we need
come
to
on,
build.
Austin. Here's your tagline for the whole thing. Enduro must be dead. Like, come on. Everybody's written us off. Man, it doesn't even phase me anymore.
If
I just
enduro's
chuckle at it.
dead, why are
Yeah,
they still selling enduro bikes?
that's man, that's a hot topic right there for me. But yeah, that's 100% it. I mean, everybody, the press, you look at, oh, Enduro's dead, Enduro's dying, whatever you phraseology you want to have, that's what is coming out about it. Fine. I'm speaking to the industry right now. If you guys say Enduro's dead and you don't want to support Enduro series, I'm not saying BME, I'm saying any Enduro series out there, then stop selling Enduro bikes. That's the 135 to like 165 realm, right? That's the majority of the bikes that are being sold in the mountain bike segment are Enduro bikes. And you're telling me Enduro's dead? Man, that hits a nerve with me, and I'm getting tired of hearing it.
Say
Yes.
otherwise.
And if you want to look at that, look at our DH series numbers versus our Enduro numbers. You can't even compare them. The Enduro is running away with numbers over DH. So how many DH bikes are you selling for every Enduro bike you sell? A tenth? You know, like, I mean, let's be real. And look at the kids that are coming up. We have the NICA programs that are doing a fantastic job getting kids on XC bikes. Look at Youth Enduro. I've got more Youth Enduroers signed up for every single one of the rounds than I have in BME. So tell me Enduro is dead. It's not happening. These kids aren't going to let it happen. That's what we all do. When we jump on a bike, whether it's an e-bike or an analog bike, and you go ride with your buddies, what are you doing? You're doing an Enduro ride. You go, you pedal to the top, you're having conversations at the top, you have your sip of coffee, and y'all race each other down the hill with Strava turned on.
Well, hopefully
that's
kids
Enduro.
aren't drinking the coffee though, you know, but
well, yeah, all right.
Yeah.
So they're not drinking, but they might have water or something else in their drink there, but they'll have something, but
some Red Bull
out of these cool fancy like BME bottles that we give away at every round. But hey, you know, Enduro's dead, so
but
I'm just trying to give you something to tag along
that
here.
being said is no one seems to want to give a platform for Enduro racers. And you can go and do these regular races, but we are giving you a platform.
That's fine. And that's what I keep saying time and time again. And you know,
there's
that,
a
Austin.
Future.
You and I are here to see Enduro through to the end. We're going to do it with Youth Enduro. We're doing it with Big Mountain Enduro. We're having fun with the downhill races. Enduro is not dead. I will make sure of that.
Yeah. I mean, if it was dead, then our social and all our numbers wouldn't have been where they were. So somehow
1.5 million views across all of our platforms in the first 8 months of last year. Yeah. Enduro's
dead. But if
Enduro's
dead, I mean, yeah, I guess those numbers were made up. So
show up to the races or not, I don't care. But you were sitting there watching us on social media. So
they still sell
I mean,
bikes,
it's interesting racing. Like, let's be real. It's 2 days of racing. I mean, this is like 24 hours of Le Mans kind of stuff that we're talking about here. You got to keep your car intact the whole way through. You got to keep your bike intact the whole way through. And I mean, look at the weather conditions in Arkansas. We had to cancel day 2 because of literally like 4 tornado warnings going on at the same time. Like, I thought our rig was going to blow off the top of the hill. I mean, it's crazy. And that's the beauty of it. And it changes up the racing. There's gals in each category, and it totally shifts from day 1 to day 2. Like, it's fascinating. And I think for the everyday person,
multiple day enduro racing is what it is.
The people who have day jobs like you, like I, like, man, I don't have time to put in 10, 14 hours a week to go do XC. I'd love to. I wish that was my job, but it's not. I'm getting too old, and I'm getting too slow for both of that. So now I can just go enduro everywhere. So here we are.
But yes, so this year there's a points card, and you can basically start earning your ranking towards everything. It will also give you a unique ID. These are all things, you know,
$20 a year.
That
I'm just gonna keep saying that on top of you. That's all it is. $20 a year.
If you just want to race races and do bikes, we have no problem with that.
Correct.
But if you want to be ranked and you want to start building your future in enduro, we're giving you the platform and the area for that. And that's what the points card is all about. Mm-hmm. You know, if you're a semi-pro and you want to become a pro, you will probably be buying a points card, which is $20. And then that will be, once you've gained 25 points, then you will be able to move up to the pro class.
I think we should reiterate, it's $25 annually, right?
Yeah.
It's not per round. We're not trying to stick it to anybody. And trust me, the $20 isn't going to make or break BME or Youth Enduro or any of that. They're just fine. The $20 is the extra admin cost it is for us to provide a unique ID. It's to keep series points. It's to do all these extra things. That's what we're doing the $20 for. And then, yes, if you want to upgrade to pro, then you will keep your points, and then we can talk about the pro license whenever you're ready, Austin. But that's what we're here for.
Any questions people have on the reason why we have a points card for you to get ranking and why it costs money is because it just doesn't come for free out of the sky. Someone has to keep track of this stuff. And last year was a very building year for the Big Mountain Enduro and Youth Enduro series and everything. Is we were basically testing all these different ideas and doing that and realizing, okay, this is where it's at. This is how we can pull back money here. This is where we can do this. Now, if people want a ranking system, I mean, that's how it goes with that type of stuff. Every single organization that races in sports or does anything has a license and a licensing fee. And
Yeah.
we're not
And that's
saying as an amateur, you don't have to do that. If you just
Yep.
want to race your bike, go right ahead. We're not
If you're
stopping
coming to
that.
1 or 2 rounds, like I keep telling everybody, if you're coming to
You
1 or 2
can,
rounds and that's all you're going to do as youth enduro, BME, DH, don't matter, whatever it is, 1 or 2 rounds, don't buy it. It's fine. It's not a big deal. It's if you're going to come to the whole series and you want to be ranked, there's a $20 annual charge for the Gravity Points card. That's all there is to it. So it's pretty straightforward. And I think that we are trying to demonstrate to everybody that we're not, regardless of what the talks are, we're not here to break everybody's backs budget wise, right? To come to a race. By the way, the least expensive part
I
is
can
the
very
actual
much
entry
tell
fee.
you though, the $20 is a losing proposition for us. I can very much tell you that.
Yes.
We are not
Yes.
making
The amount of manpower that goes in behind the scenes, and this isn't we show up on Wednesday and pull this all out, but no, it's a good thing for people to be able to do. And if you don't want to do it, you don't have to do it. And that's the beauty. And we lowered our prices across the board astronomically. We took $40 off the DH race. We took $55 off the enduro race. I mean, so clearly we can dispel the whole money side of things. So
yeah. Well, so anyone that has any questions, please put it in the chat. Ask away. Before we dig into the pro stuff, the next hot topic, or is there anything else that we should dig into before we get to that, Rob?
I think that's pretty good. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm super excited for youth enduro. Early season numbers are off the charts. We have never seen this before for youth enduro, especially. Like I said, our number 1 round for BME is Vegas. That blows my mind. We haven't even announced the final destination. We've kind of alluded to it here, but yeah, I mean, it's cool to see what the early season numbers are in 20 what year are we 2025 numbers. Early season numbers are definitely up on 24 and 23, so we're very excited. It's going to be a strong year for enduro, which is kind of why I laugh about the other stuff. It's going to be awesome to travel around, and now we're getting the whole families, and that to us is what this is all about. And it's such a fun time seeing the campers in the campgrounds at night and going around and watching the fires and the camaraderie. Everybody's talking and fixing, and it's this is what it's about. This is why we do it.
Okay, we do have a question in the chat. One, David is saying that you're not very old, so it's okay.
Thanks, Dave.
from there, we have Bryce Cox asking about e-enduro in the future with BME, like e-mountain bikes and all that. Interesting. I know.
Yeah, it is. It is. And a quick shout out to Dave. Him and I are working on some stuff behind the scenes for Brian Head. So I know he's listening. I know he knows what I'm talking about. I can't wait to unveil with you guys what it could be in the future. But yeah, we're going to do some cool things with Dave. Dave is a local owner of Tri-State GMC here in Cedar City, Utah. He's a huge proponent of Big Mountain Enduro, but so many activities. He's involved with SUU, the university high school or university football program. He's a tremendous supporter of all things athletics, and with Tri-State GMC being thrown out there, we're going to do something probably pretty spectacular up at Brian Head. So stay tuned for that announcement, but it'll be awesome. But yeah, thoughts about e-enduro and the future of BME. We're trying. I think there's a very bright future for e-enduros in the BMEs.
I ride e-bikes, so I believe in them, but it's getting a lot of people to race them as it seems.
Yeah.
Right.
But I think the numbers, they grew tremendously. We finally put some effort into it. And that was the thing going into 24 is that we talked about it. We either going to have to put effort into it and grow it, or we have to kill it off, unfortunately, because there are 2-3 riders around. It just wasn't.
I don't think there's anyone also in the
it.
United States that is treating them the way we are. I would say that is having uphill stages and power stages, as we called them. And for 25, the plan still to have that, but maybe not expanded classes. I mean, these are all questions of what
Yeah,
we what
I think right now, unfortunately, it's hard because we're not just dealing with the e-bike segment of that for an e-bike category, right? Like there's still the National Forest Service hurdles that we got to come over to do it. So
yeah.
we're extremely limited on where and how the e-bike is going to look. So we're just like all the other aspects, we're trying to be particular in what we're doing and thought worthy of it, in that we don't want to just call it an e-bike race and it's not worthy of being an e-bike race, right? Like we got to have the power stages, we got to have these other things. But Vegas, for example, if we're not, well, Brian Head, I'll use Brian Head for an example. It's 98% on Forest Service land. We just can't do it there, unfortunately, as much as I'd like to. We're trying to figure out a way at Brian Head to do it. There is a decent amount of private land right there, so we're trying to see if we can get something. But again, it's got to be a proper e-enduro. It's got to have plenty of down. It's got to have plenty of up. It's got to be that. And I just, it's kind of like everything else. We don't want to do it if it's not going to be full commit on it. And so the rounds where we can, obviously Sunrise, we can have a fantastic e-enduro out there. We're going to do it. We just have to, unfortunately, this is part of the stuff that, like, with the change in platform for registration, I've had to kind of to table that e-enduro stuff for a minute to get the registration platform up, and then I can come back to it. And so it is a hot topic here for us, probably the month of February, and we're definitely not killing it off. Let's put it that way. So I'm going to try to keep breathing life into it. And if nothing else, maybe it'll give us more of a leg to stand on for the Forest Service and keep pushing forward and getting more allowances in Forest Service for it. So I think it'd be awesome.
Okay, there we go. That's what we got for e-enduro right now. All right, let's just dive into this pro stuff. I think a lot of people took it very wrong, a very misunderstanding of what's going on here. And just like the points card of understanding of what we're charging on that for. And let's just hit the thing first off the bat. Even with the $50 fee for a pro license in enduro, it is still cheaper with that and the sign up for one event. If you're just doing even one event. Now, if you're doing all 5 of them, it's cheaper than last year by hundreds of dollars. So
by a whole entry fee from last year, $250.
Yes.
Yeah. So and maybe it was the way it was delivered. Maybe we could have done a different job. And I honestly do. And those are my responses. Like, I'll take full ownership on it. If you don't like the response, it was me. So direct it back to Robert@BigMountainEnduro.com. But yeah, we put a lot of thought into these things. I think people don't realize how much time and effort goes into these prior to announcing anything publicly. Like, I mean, we're literally talking months. We were talking about the pro license early last season in 24.
Yep.
It was just trying to find the pieces and how do we do it. And honestly, the old system, the old registration platform couldn't even handle it. So that was not even a point.
So maybe we back up a little bit. In 23, towards the end of the season, and we're not I mean, okay, we'll talk about that. Over $80,000 was given to pros in 2024 from Big Mountain Enduro. $80,000. Okay.
Correct.
There is no other series, from my understanding, 100%, I can guarantee it, in the United States that doesn't do it. Now, I already know the purse payout over there for UCI, and they don't even come close to that. So, but they are probably second place to us with pro payout. That being said, we've never, no one previous, let's go with of owners of the series have never taken pros, and anyone in America since Norba days have given pros any type of outline of rules, of any type of, putting this is what you got to be here. You got to do this. UCI over there did that. They stepped up the game. It was great. Yes. Us in America, we lacked. No one did it. So in 2023, at the end of the year, when you're giving out $80,000 to pros, industry people and riders are going to be like, hey, why isn't there rules like there was over there and you're giving out more money. Damn, they're right. We should make rules. So 2024, me and you talked, and others amongst ourselves, and then talked with industry, and then talked with pro riders. This was a common talk. We all wanted rules and things. All of them, you people asked for it. So we made rules, and we tested all kinds of things through 2024. Everything, all these things.
Yeah.
I
And
mean,
there's things that are changing too, like, right? Like, and
yeah,
that's the modern times. Like, we have to change so quickly, but even within our rule book, like pro license aside, there's things that are changing. And I mean, I'll just go on record saying that we're in the rule book right now. We're trying to make our internal changes before we put it out publicly. And we're going to do the same thing we did in 24, which has never been done in US racing, especially, but putting out a preview of the rule book and letting everybody comment on it, and then making the changes based upon that. We're going to be changing very, very little in this rule book overall, but impactful changes. And the biggest thing is that we're going to reduce some of the time penalties for different items. I don't want to get into the topics on that exactly right now, but we're going to be reducing them. Why? Because when you look at our pro events, these are UCI level pro events. Our top 5, almost every single round in the men's categories, are within 60 seconds of the leader. The 5th place guy is within 60 seconds of the leader after 30 plus minutes of racing. Where else do you see that? Exactly. And then on the women's side, it's the top 3 are within 60 seconds, and the next 2 are within another 60 seconds. Like, the racing is so tight and so impactful. We need to make changes, and we need to make changes to the rule book. Like, having a 3-minute penalty for X, Y, or Z is probably a little excessive for somebody who could have won the race. So we need to change that. But the rules need to be black and white, and they need to be something that we all know, respect, and appreciate at the end of the day. When the rule book states it and you've clearly violated that rule, this is the change that's going to be made to your time. So it is what it is. And there's stuff like that. And then, yeah, I mean, to get into
in the past, it's been a free for all in the pro class in America, all the way up until the Norba days. It's from my understanding, it's a full free for all everywhere else. We have laid out rules, and in that time, we've learned.
We don't have to pretend like it's not. We've done those races. I've done those races. Like, and that's fine. We need those. And we're not against. I'll go on record. Correct. Yeah. I will go on record, and I had it typed so many times. If you don't like coming to our races, you don't like coming to our races. That's fine. Support your local promoter. Support the type of racing that you want to do. There's a guy that's been very vocal about, well, there needs to be, complete elusive backcountry 40-mile days. That's not the type of racing BME is. That's not the type of racing BME will be. We need to bring it back to the close. We need to bring it relatively close. We're still always going to have backcountry days. We're going to have park days, but we got to be able to control the environment. If you want to go do a 7-day race in the Andes where it's completely blind, go do it. Please. I think it's awesome.
There's already those type of races out there.
Correct. From a safety standpoint, from a staffing standpoint, from all these kinds of things, a BME is going to have a backcountry day and a park day. The backcountry day will be a proper backcountry day. We're not just going to link together some little fire roads and call it a backcountry day. They're going to be proper. So, I mean, it is what it is at that point. So, we're just trying to bring a little bit more structure to the pro class, and therefore, kind of what we talked to at the beginning of the show is more respect for the rankings, right? So when somebody turns in their resume to Brand X, regardless of what class they're on, we want Brand X to go, whoa, that was a legitimate result, just like it was in the Norba days. Nobody questioned Norba. If you got 3rd place in semi-pro at Norba, they're like, holy smokes, this kid's coming up, right? Like, I mean, it's legit. If you're getting last place in semi-pro, they're like, it is what it is. But there's nothing like that out there right now, and that's what we're trying to create. We're ruffling some feathers. Unfortunately, that's never our intentions to do it, but we have to provide a consistency. When we pay out the kind of money that we pay out, $80,000 last year, we paid out. Actual checks were written. in the sum of $80,000 last year. We've got to have some sort of a rule book that we can follow so that there's everything to it. I mean,
and so there's understanding is that with this license fee, we're honestly losing money in the pro class. The pro class is a negative winning situation for us. We want to give you guys a platform and something with that, but it's just like the difference of when you race amateur AMA motocross to racing supercross and AMA pro racing is there's a whole field of staff that do so much more, and that's what the pros require. If every weekend we treated it just the same way we treated the regular ones, you guys wouldn't have unique numbers for the whole entire series, permanent numbers. Those all have to be paid for in some way or another. From there, you guys take way more policing. And what I mean by that is coming to a start time and a drop time. All those and the transfer times, all that stuff has to be policed, and someone
what's
has
the
to
reciprocal of that? So we're asking him to be at the start time at a certain time, correct? And why are we doing that? Because of the media. And that comes back to my other point I made earlier. There's two things I do not stinge on. It's timing and it's media. And what does the media do? It boosts them and it boosts us. Sure, absolutely. But if you're not there, one, you're going to get a time penalty, and two, you're not going to get any media. Because if you're dropping 45 minutes before anybody else in your class, how is media supposed to be where they're supposed to be? Because they're on another stage trying to get you over there. So there's things that go with it. And while you're here, how much is that AMA Pro license, Austin?
I mean, when I used to do it, it started at $250.
Yeah. So when I had a pro license in USA Cycling, it was $175.
Yeah.
So $50.
And I'll be perfectly honest. I mean, if you want to go deeper into the story, is when the first year I had turned pro, there was pro license were just given out, and you didn't have to earn them the way that. And I remember it being like, well, this sucks. I now have to go do multiple other races before I can even go race the pro race and earn points. Well, why is that? I already beat these guys. That doesn't make sense to me. But in the end of the day, it changed the level of understanding of what the pro class is, right? And they had so much issues before, and this is the system to get to that. And that's what we're trying to build. And we have the platform with the media that comes with it that got 1.5 million views last year. We make for sure that there's stories written about the pros. They deserve that with the photos, the videos, all the content. And not only that, is that the staffing, let's just minus the media on that. The staffing that takes to run the pros is just from making for sure that they're to those times, handing out penalties, watching people in the pits for coming back and doing changes. It's a constant babysitting job of work that have extra times, from the sign-up system to everything in between that gets you there to the end of the finish line, is that it requires more staff and more work.
Yeah.
2024,
if we were just putting on an amateur event, it'd be totally different. If we were just putting it in there, or it was an open category, not a pro category. If there was no money on the line, I mean, we're handing out $10,000 a weekend just for the BME purse, equal pro men and women. So it's $2,000 for the win on either side of the tape. It doesn't matter. So whether you're top female or top male, you're getting $2,000 and you're going home with it. And it's an actual check. And I write them right there on site and they go home with that check. Like, not many places do that. And so when you have all these things in play, there needs to be more. And if we went away from there being a pro class and there wouldn't be a pro payout, then there wouldn't be a need to double chip them. There wouldn't be a need to have like super strict start times because we're not trying to capture media. You know what I mean? It's just the same media for everybody.
Well, no, here's the answer. You can race semi-pro. If you don't want to pay the licensing fee and you just want to do it just like every other race that doesn't pay a pro purse, there's a semi-pro class you can race. And
$20
scored in that
if you want, or
you don't even need to pay the $20 on that. You can just race the semi-pro class. Yeah. There's no gun to your head that says you have to race the pro class. Understand that.
So yeah, and I think in quick summary, the whole purpose behind the pro card, pro license, is one, to acknowledge the rule book. Two, you're going to abide by the rule book and be courteous, respectful, and everything. Everybody is. I have no issues with that. And three, the $50 strictly comes from admin fees. We cut the races $55 per round for a 5-round series. And all we're asking is a $50 pro thing. If you don't like it, if you have a problem with it, if you have a solution that I'm not seeing here, please bring it to me.
Yes.
I am all
Actually,
ears.
if you want, bring us
Positive.
extra transponders for Zone
Correct.
4 because we got to pay
Correct.
for those. You run double
Correct.
transponders.
Yes.
If you want to stay up, I mean, I was with you staying up till midnight at nights to get the timing, all this stuff, testing the transfer times, all these type of things. If you want to come and do those for all the pros, you're more than welcome to, and you can just start your own thing. But all those are man hours that we did for free last year, which we were testing, and we're not blaming anyone.
No.
But if
it's what we're doing, we're trying to elevate the sport. That's the biggest thing, is we're trying to elevate the sport. So in order to elevate the sport, it unfortunately is going to upset some who aren't even coming to the races anyways. So I don't know why. I mean,
no, they're going to come and race semi-pro because they don't like to get paid money to win.
Yeah, I'll see if they even show up. But you know, look, it's new ownership under BME. We're trying to do things different. We're trying to do them better. We're trying to do them more professional. And every single one of the pros that comes to our races knows that. And we've had that talk. I've chatted with them. I know we had a big in-depth one, and it was just about being professional, right? Coming to the events, being prepared, knowing what the rules are. Don't come at me and show me some phony picture of something that's completely ambiguous and tell me that XYZ over there needs a time penalty for it. There's nothing in the picture that identifies anybody. So how am I going to do this? But if you're coming to me
official,
with a rule book,
which is time, which we have to pay for to do that, no matter what, even if you are bringing that and having a rule book and writing,
we're happy to look into it. We're not saying that at all, but you got to give me more than a crushed up can and dirt. That's all the picture was, is a crushed up bottle, a water bottle, definitely, and dirt.
I will say this. We've never had so many protests until the last couple of years in the pro class. And it's always the pro class. It's always.
Why?
Because there's money on the line that we pay out $80,000 a year. And we understand that. Okay. But to do that, you guys, it's a lot of babysitting work. And I know you're probably not liking it.
It's a lot of work. I think it's just a lot of work. There's a lot of minutia that goes with it, because as much as I demand professionalism out of the professional class, call it as it is, I demand that of myself and our team. We're all trying to be the most professional here in a very unprofessional environment, which is the outdoors, weather, winds, terrain conditions changing all the time. Like, when we expect that of ourselves in our pro class, we have to be able to give something so that when somebody says, hey, I need a protest, this XYZ, we have something factual that we can go on, because otherwise, what's the point?
Which is, man,
again, we lose the reliability of the series.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's what we have to have.
Yeah. And there's a lot that goes into it. And I understand that some of these people just don't understand that because it's never been out there before as a professional class. And so maybe it gets a little bit confusing and you get frustrated because you feel that it's hurting your career possibly, but it is still 100% cheaper to race a BME now than it was last year, even with the fee. So no matter what way you slice it up. Yeah.
If you pay for one round, it's $185 a BME pro class. Then you buy the $50 thing. It is now $235. You are still $15 ahead of any time last year. The best prices last year. You're still $15 ahead.
You're still
and you don't have to buy that pro license every single time. You buy it one time. It's good for a year. And then, so the next 4 rounds, you're at $185.
And so no matter what way you slice it, it is that.
Yes.
And we are not.
And we
being, another thing on the side of that is maybe you do feel possibly we are gatekeeping who is the pro. We are not. If you go look at the thing now, which I have on the screen, is a very fair assessment of what a pro would be.
Ask the professionals that have already been approved into our pro class, that have already paid the license. We have a huge
approval list up already now. All these people are 100% approved. From there, you can go for it. I'll be perfectly honest. I wouldn't want to ride the pro class if I wasn't in any of these lines of categories. Sure. As an old semi-pro that was in the top 10 or top 5, I didn't actually, I mean, these are all, yes.
That's all we're asking, is just show us something. Or if I can simply go to Roots and Rain and pull up your results and I can see pro, or super fast in whatever categories you're smoking everybody. Cool. Good. That's it. Like, and maybe you're not quite ready yet. Okay. Try semi-pro. Go semi-pro for 1 year. Then go pro. That's all we're
and earn
saying. We're just trying to
25
create
points.
something.
Yes, it's
Exactly. So there's
yeah.
ways to meet it. I mean, we've already accepted a bunch of people into the pro class. One of them was in 30 minutes of us putting that post out. They'd already sent us, and kudos on him. I won't call out his name, but kudos on him for doing it and doing it right. He sent a very nice email to the one of the contact forms on our website, one of the 8,000. And he
And
said,
wasn't even
this
in
is my
any of
list of
those
results.
lists.
Correct. He
Yeah,
goes,
he
this is my
sent
list of
yes.
results. This is what it is. I'd like to be considered for the pro class. Boom, accepted. That's it.
There
We're
you
not
go.
trying to be the gatekeepers. We're not trying to be anything else. That's absolutely not what it is. We're just trying to
We want
elevate the
more
pro
pros.
class.
We
Yes,
want
absolutely.
everyone that is feeling that they are worthy enough to be in the pro class. Come,
Yes.
we are not stopping that. There's money to be had. We're giving it out, okay?
A lot.
And it's cheaper than ever at a BME to get it. So,
oh, so wait, it's cheaper, but yet I still get the same money?
I'm just super confused. I don't know how much more you can hate us because we're giving it to you for cheaper and you're getting more. So it's pretty simple stuff,
Again,
people.
if
So
there's better solutions that people have out there, I'm always all ears. People who know me directly, I think, know and understand the exact same thing. We're here to listen and improve and do better. But at this
and
point in
most of
time,
these
it's
people,
being pretty realistic at where we're at. I mean, our top pros from last year, I won't say names for their own sake, but our top pros in the female side, 10-5 was one of the winnings from last year. 6,000, another one for 6,000. You go to the men's side, there's one. We have several at or above $10,000 for that individual. So, I mean, this is big money that we're paying, and we're not kidding ourselves. Like the money, it shouldn't be at any level of any sport, whether it's Supercross or whatever. Like the money that they get from Feld is not paying their mortgage, right? It's the win bonuses that they get from their companies. It's all the stuff that's in their contract, but we're trying to give them plenty of money so
we
they can get to the races and
we
justify
have to
it.
build a platform.
Correct.
And this is the platform. No one else in cycling is giving an enduro platform. We are trying to give you a platform, you guys. So we're trying to help you. So understand that. Like you can come and talk to us. Give us a call. The
We're
number's
available.
on the website.
I don't hide. Same at the races, right? Like we show up the Sunday before the race and we don't leave till Sunday night or Monday after the race. And I intentionally make myself very available. I intentionally put myself in the pits, on the trail, wherever. Like you'll see us out there. Like just come and chat with us. We're normal human beings like the rest of us. We're trying to do best by the sport. We're trying to not let enduro die. We're trying to push enduro forward. We think we're doing it the best we can at this moment in time. We have improvements coming down the road, but those are set for that time. Everybody else is turning their backs on enduro. We're not. We're pushing forward. And the beauty of it is we're bringing in other sponsors. We're bringing out of industry sponsors into this sport that have never been into this sport before. So we're doing what we can for the sport every step of the way. We'd love to hear feedback.
And I mean, we know what shape the sport is in right now. I mean,
The whole industry.
the whole industry is in a very rough place, and we're here cutting our prices. We're still paying the same, and we're here to help. So we're doing, like we're here, we're on your side, you guys. So
100%.
Yep.
We wouldn't be doing it otherwise. I mean, let's be real. You have a day job, I have a day job. Like if we didn't truly love the sport, if we didn't truly love mountain biking and being a part of it and the atmosphere at the events, the families, like we have made so many lifelong friends and so many people have. And that's what I hear time and time again, especially at the youth enduros, is that now their son or daughter has kids, friends, riders in 5, 6, 7 different states that they never would have traveled to otherwise. Like how cool is that? That's the atmosphere we're building. That's the atmosphere we're trying to expand on. That's why we do this. There's no paycheck in that for us, right? Like we're doing it because we love it, because there's a passion. That's what drives mountain biking. That's what drives the cycling industry. We're looking for brands that want to be a part of that. We're looking for venues that want to be a part of that. And if you don't, that's fine. I'm completely okay with that. I understand where the industry is at, probably deeper than most people understand that I understand. Like we have a pretty depth of knowledge in this industry of where it's going. We are excited to work with brands that want to work with us. And to say that they're coming from out of industry right now into our industry, the little mountain bike world, the enduro world, let's do it. But please, media, everybody, stop saying enduro is dead or enduro is dying. It's not. It's not going anywhere. It will never go anywhere. There might be iterations, there might be changes, but enduro is not going to die. When out of industry sponsors are wanting to get involved and they do a quick Google search and they see on whatever media platform enduro's dead, do you think they want to get involved? You know, it doesn't make sense. Like, we as an industry need, this is the call to action. Me, I bought Big Mountain Enduro because I love it, because I like what it's doing. Me as BME owner and multiple other series and other things in the industry, the call to action: stop saying things that aren't true. Enduro's not dead. It's not dying. It's not going anywhere. It's the most amount of bikes that anybody sells in any category, anywhere. We're not talking road. I'm talking mountain bikes. It's enduro bikes. Stop putting negative stuff out if it's not actually happening, and it's not actually happening. We're trying to partner with brands that are much bigger than this sport, and they want to see positivity. They want to see 1.5 million views, but you know what? They want to see that better. They want to see 3 million. They want to see 4 million views from us out this next year. We're not going to get that if everybody keeps saying enduro is dying. I'll throw it out there. The negative press needs to stop. It's not going anywhere. I will speak for a factual knowledge of lots of youth enduro teams that I speak to on a very regular, direct basis. They're growing. They're getting bigger. There's more teams going to be at any round of youth enduro and Big Mountain Enduro this year than we've ever had. The teams are double or triple the size of what they've ever been. We have people coming from Hawaii, Alaska, all the continental states. The pro team side, our teams are growing. Sure, there's a couple that kind of waffling. They're trying to find their direction. That's perfectly fine. But we have new teams that are coming in, bigger teams, established teams that are getting bigger. This sport is not dying, guys. Like, can we just cut this right now? And if somebody wants to prove me wrong, please, again, Robert at bigmountainenduro.com. Send it to me. Prove it to me. But you can't.
Yes. Look, we're here to support the sport. So that's what we're doing. We're kicking ass at it. And we're glad that you guys are all on board. So we got lower pricing this year, 5 rounds, West Coast stuff, right? Pro class.
Everything's drivable from wherever you want to call it. Salt Lake City, Vegas, Southern California.
A lot easier. So, I mean, anyways, I'm actually kind of surprised with the stuff that we were dealing with on social media earlier. None of them showed up to ask questions, or come to do it. So, shocker. But all right. I mean, I think that's good. We're at like hour 20. This will be on YouTube. We're gonna put some cut ups on Instagram. We're going to make it into a podcast. So yeah, hope everyone. Anything else we need to dig into, Rob?
From the bottom of my heart, with BME, I appreciate you, Austin, taking the time to do this, being behind the scenes, taking the hits from social media. Our whole team across the board, across the country that comes out to do these races, we thank you guys. Racers, family, friends, supporting, we appreciate it. It does not go unnoticed. It's cool to see where this sport is going. It's cool to be, I don't know, leading the charge, pushing the charge, whatever the proper phraseology is there. It's exciting. It's an exciting time for the industry. I truly believe it. I think we're going to come forward. Numbers are already looking better for everything. I mean, the economy's getting better. Like it's just a good time to be a part of mountain biking. Fuel prices are starting to creep down, at least where I live. Like grocery prices are starting to creep down a little bit. Like it's cool. It's going to be a fantastic summer. I'm really looking forward to it. For everybody that supports us,
we can share that youth enduro has grown, and every year, and obviously, BME has needed a change. It needs a revamp, and youth enduro now has something to look forward to, and that's what we're pointing them to. and we see growth in the industry where others
And
don't.
did you
And
notice where the most amount of likes came from when we released that pro license? Youth
yeah,
Enduro. Those are Youth
it-
Enduro kids. Because I went through and I looked at the names. I looked at the
we're
names on
giving
both sides of it. So we're keeping track. But
we're
it was the
we're
kids. The
giving
kids
out
are excited.
futures to them.
Yes, it's
you know?
something that they have that now they can hang their hat on. They can look forward to. And whether they turn it into a career or not, we're not trying to like make everybody do that. That's not the goal here. But give them something to aspire to. Why not? Like that's what I had when I was racing. There was something to aspire to. It's something you had. It's something everybody has. Like there needs to be a pinnacle of the sport. And I'm not saying BME is the pinnacle, but there has to be a stepping stone, a process to get there, to get to UCI, to get to the world champs, whatever it is of whatever sport that you're in. We're just trying to get 'em.
Enduro hasn't been treated this way in a very long time. We're trying to treat it as a professional sport at this moment here in the U.S. So
Absolutely.
we're giving it all the love we can, and
We
doing
appreciate
it
the
through BME.
support. We truly do. And
Yep.
and for every naysayer that comes out every now and again, it's very far and few between anymore. And it's getting less and less frequent, but we get so much positivity that comes out of this, and the families and the friends and everything. So we thank you guys. We're looking forward to pushing this forward. We're looking forward to a great year of racing. Like, man, 25 is going to be awesome. It's going to be great locations, great trails. Everybody's working on new stuff already. Like, man, it's cool. I'm excited.
Uh-oh. Internet. All right, you guys. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Hopefully that didn't lag out too much on that one. I don't know if it was me or you, but cool. Schedule's up on bigmountainenduro.com. And
last week,
check us.
hurry up, get registered on those super early bird pricing. That ends on the 3rd. So this week, basically. So Monday morning, whatever, it goes up. Right now, it's currently 185 BME, 110 DH, and then you have 125 for Youth Enduro, more or less, 125 max. There's add-ons. You can click all those. They're whatever, $85 to add on DH. You can add those on site. Doesn't matter. But we've got lots of cool capabilities for us. If you guys have feedback, let us know. I'm all ears. Looking forward to it. It's going to be awesome.
Perfect. Thank you, everyone. Have a good night.
Thanks, guys.